Good morning, Mr. Eric. Today we want to present our project about waste analysis. But first of all, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Tania Aisyah Fadrin, NRP 89.
Hello, my name is Miftahul Zainuddin Irfan, student number 167.
Hello, my name is Michael, student number 012.
My name is Goseli. My student number is 044.
Okay, in this presentation, we want to explain about first, business profile, second, about 7 waste analysis, third, about 5 why analysis, and last but not least, about improvement.
In here, I want to explain about the business profile of the company that we had visited before. Before I explain about the business profile, I want to inform that this observation was conducted before the pandemic of COVID-19 appeared in Surabaya, which caused all of the people didn't allow to leave their house. We haven't asked permission in the company to publish it on YouTube, so we decided to disguise the company's identity as XYZ for the sake of mutual comfort. Now I will explain about the business profile. The XYZ home industry is one of many home industry located in Surabaya. This home industry is located on Raya Rungkut Street 1, Surabaya City. The owner of XYZ Home Industry started its business at the end of 2013 after the owner was laid off from the place that she worked before. Initially, the owner only helped the woman in her place to learn on how to make cakes and develop the business. But at the end, because of her kindness, the woman in her place has ability to make their own cakes and business. The main product of XYZ Home Industry is cookies with various of tastes. This product was very popular product in local and even international. XYZ Home Industry itself is now well known by many local and foreign communities such as Malaysia, Korea, and Japan. XYZ Home Industry are also frequently visited by local and foreign tourists such as Malaysia, Brunei Darussalam, and Australia who are curious about the product which produced by this home industry. The cookies which produced by XYZ Home Industry has many various of tastes. There are green tea, cheese, red velvet, chocolate, and original. XYZ Home Industry always produce almost 35 packs of cookies that will distribute to their customer in or outside Surabaya. The observation that we had conducted on XYZ Home Industry is focused on their production process of the cookies from the start until the packaging process. This is the production sequence of XYZ Home Industry. The first is receive raw material. All of the materials that need to make the cookies has been planned before. XYZ Home Industry always have decided the kind and amount of all materials needed to make the product. There are also planned the workers who have to buy the raw materials. Based on our observation, the wet flour is the materials which need the most. The second is dough process. The materials that have been bought like wheat flour, eggs, and the others are mixed together in the process called dough process. Dough process will be used in the pressing process. The third is pressing process. In this process, the dough will be dilated on the table so it will have a big rectangle shape. Then, the shape will be pressed using the tool that have a circular shape to cut off the rectangle shape, become the little circular shape which have the thin structure. In this process, the workers also already put the topping of cookies above the circular shape. The fourth is cooking process. After the circular shape is ready to cook, the workers will put it in a big baking sheet and put them in the oven until it cooks enough. XYZ Home Industry only has one big oven to use in their cooking process. The last process is packaging process. If the cooking process is done, the cookies transfer into the front room to enter the packaging process. The packaging of cookies is fully designed by XYZ Home Industry itself to create the unique characteristic of its home industry. Based on the observation that we had conducted before, the production system used by XYZ Home Industry is push system. The home industry always make the product to become a stock while there's an unpredicted demand occur. But sometimes, they're also using the pull system, which means they also produce the product when there's an order from their customer. The next slide will be explained by my friend.
Okay, I will continue this presentation and explain about 7 waste analysis. The first waste is overproduction. When customer want to order in large quantities, they must order before the day of the cookies is needed, or it's called pre-order. But from the order that customer ordered, they always produce more than what the customer ordered. This waste usually recently seen after the cooking and packaging step. And this waste can happen because they don't have a proper standard for each ingredient for make per pack. Second waste is inventory. This waste can happen because of the overproduction. If they have a proper standard for each ingredient for make per pack, they can minimize this waste too. Besides that case, they also make at least 35 pack per day to stock at home just in case customer need it. This is their way to avoid losing sales. But with these strategies, not every day 35 pack are sold out. So it will become a storage build-up. When it doesn't sold out, they will use it for the customer order the next day. This will have an impact of the freshness of the cookies. Based on the observation, as we can see the picture at the right side, they also have over inventory on their equipment. So with the limited space building and too many equipment, it looks messy. Next waste is defect. Defect of this waste can be defined as the food with undercooked or overcooked condition, and many more. For example, the dough doesn't expand well, or they bake too long so the dough will be overcooked. Next waste is overprocessing. This waste happen when they count many times the finished pack of cookies. After the packaging process, they count how many pack of cookies have been packaged. But after that, they only put the cookies together with the previous cookies. So when they will send the cookies, they have to recalculate. It is better if they want to combine packaged cookies with previous cookies, they arrange with the same stack. For example, we can see the picture in the right side. The stack don't have the same content pack. So we can arrange each stack contain 6 pack. So when there are order to be taken or sent, they know how many stack should be taken without having to recalculate. Next waste is motion. This waste will make employee to spend more energy and time because of poor work design. The work design of this UKM make employee to reach and take the equipment difficultly, because too much equipment also not properly located and stored. Next waste is transportation. This waste happen because layout of this UKM workstation is very poor. As we can see in the center picture, there are backstep activities that employee have done. The layout of workstation is not continuous. For example, to make these cookies, there are many manufacturing steps. After the employee complete one step, they have to back to other area to continue next step. Last waste is waiting. Waiting is non-value added activity that has to eliminate and minimize. In this waste, the waiting can be defined as a delay in a process. The delay happens when the employee has to prepare all of the material and equipment. They need spend more time because the equipment and material is not properly located and stored, and also it don't have identification.
Okay, now I will continue the presentation about the 5-way analysis.
The first problem is overproduction. So they are always trying to making full use of the pen space, like in this picture on the right. Sometimes when they receive order from the customers, they do not always need to use the full space of this pen. Sometimes they only need to use half or even less or a little bit more, but they always use the full space of this because they do not want to waste any space during the baking process. And that is because they have no standard of how much ingredients should be used to make the cookies. And the root of that problem is because they have no proper planning and standard before receiving the order. The next one is inventory. They are trying to avoid lost sales by making these excess cookies, like shown in the picture on the left. Those excess cookies are used for direct customers who come directly to their shop. So like the picture on the left, the shelf are used for customers who come, and sometimes it's not always sold out, so they have excess inventory on their shelf and their production house, and that is caused because they have no uniform amount of ingredient required for the direct customers, and that is because they don't forecast for how many direct customers that will come to their shop every day or every month. And the root of that problem is because they have no knowledge to forecast for their direct customers. So they only focus on the ordering customers. The next one is defects. Sometimes when they are baking or making the cookies, sometimes the cookies are undercooked or overcooked. That's because they only cook based on experience only. They have no standard time and amount of ingredient for baking those cookies. So they only use feelings and experience, and when they feel it is enough, they bake it. So when actually it is not, so the cookies are not always the good quality. The next one is over process. The first one is too many recalculating. This means that they calculate how many cookies should be delivered to the customer before and after the packaging. And that is caused because they calculate crumpled and unorganized product, so they store it all in one place, and before the packaging they calculate it, and after the packaging they calculate it again how many should be delivered to the customer, when they actually can just calculate it at the end of the process. And that is caused because they have no proper stacking method. So like the picture on the right, there are stacks that have different heights. So sometimes the stacks are 4, sometimes it is 5, sometimes it is 6. So if they make it all the same, so for example 5, all the stacks are 5 cookies package, it will be much easier for them to calculate of how many should be delivered to the customer. And the root of that problem is because they consider it as a minor problem and doesn't need to reorganize it. The next one is overmotion. The first one is not in order process steps. So they are moving from this spot of the room to this spot of the room, and the process is not continuous. So it's not properly designed for their equipment and process, and the root of that problem is because of the poor workstation layout. The next one is transportation. The workers are reaching hard to place spots and have needless move during the process. So as you can see on the left picture, they also store the documents and the important files in the same place as their kitchen. And this is causing overlapping and a non-continuous flow because they have to walk from here to the outside or from here to there. That when just reorganize it and make it continuous. And that's because they have no knowledge for proper layout. And the root of that problem is because they have limited space for their process layout. The last one is waiting. So like the picture in the right, they have many equipments that are not needed, like that box for the rice cooker and those containers that are not needed. And they also place the equipments everywhere as they like, and do not have proper marker and groupings for equipments. So it's making very long time for them to search the equipments, and that causes the waiting waste. And the root of that problem is because they have no knowledge and habit for proper placements of the equipment. And that is for the 5 analysis. The next will be continued by my friend.
I will expand about improvement step. We can improve process at industry XYZ is using by 5S. 5S is consisted by sort, set in order, standardize, sign, and sustain. First, sort all equipment which one is still used and not. If the equipment isn't used because broken, just throw it. Sort the other thing around of the workstation and move it into other area if it is not used and related. After sort, we can use set in order. We can categorize the equipment based on the type, then group and arrange all of the equipment based on their type. For example, ingredient will be grouped in with ingredient and each other. If all equipment has been grouped into one place, make a label and stick it into one set that can be seen by employee. It will be easier for employee when they look for the equipment. Next is standardize. Standardize means make the schedule to do 3S before owner or management has to determine and create the schedule for 3S. Then owner or management has to inform to all employees if the employee doesn't do it and there will be risk or accident. The owner or management must take the follow-up step to solve this risk or accident. Maybe some punishment like cutting the salary or the other way. And sign and sustain, we can clean the workstation area every day and clean the equipment before the utilization. And I have suggestion about improve inventory. We can determine how many ingredients needed for one pack, so the making is not necessary. Stock made from the average offline or online buyer, so there is no excess stock. When they make product, they should count how many processed packaging so there is not over-processing. In transportation, we can make the process flow is made in order, starting from taking floor, mixing dough, and oven dough. Finally, owner or management must make a routine training for employee for 5S. Training and knowledge obtained by employee will guide their habit and directly about how to manage their workstation area to become a good and comfort workstation. I think that's all our presentation. Thank you.